Hello and welcome. Today we have interesting stories, including one about an entitled brother-in-law who tried to molest his brother's wife. Sit back, relax and enjoy. First story. Am I the idiot for reporting my teacher to the principal? Hi. My second post here. 15F. This happened yesterday. I stayed home today and I have his class tomorrow and I'm stressed. My teacher is a very old, stubborn, strict man. And when I say strict, I mean strict. He will constantly monitor our computers to see what we're doing in his class. If we open any other tab to do anything, he closes it and tells us to get back to work. If we finish with our work and try and do other homework, he closes out those tabs and tells us to just close our Chromebooks. This was annoying, but I just did as told because I did not want to get in trouble. So fast forward. We have 4 lunch periods and my class has 3rd lunch. My phone had died, so I decided I was gonna use my Chromebook at lunch to pass the time. You can see where this is going, right? Anyways, at lunch, mindlessly scrolling through BuzzFeed, when suddenly, the tab closes. I thought maybe I had accidentally misclicked. I reopened the tab but it closes again. I was confused, so I tried opening other tabs to see if it was just that website, but nope. They all closed. After about 1 minute of confusion, I finally realized what was going on. I was furious. I closed my Chromebook and finished lunch. When I went back to class 1, asked my teacher about it, he said that the Chromebook was only to be used for school purposes. I told him that that wasn't fair because this was my leisure time and he should not be watching my Chromebook in my personal time. He kept telling me the same things over and over, so I just stayed quiet. I was still mad though, so during passing period, I took a trip to the principal's office and reported him. The principal said she would look into it. When I got home and told my mom about the situation, she said I overreacted. She said that the computer was only for school use and I should not be using it for anything else. Now I'm worried. I'm wondering if I did overreact? But then again, I feel it's unfair and creepy that he's watching what I'm doing in my leisure time. So, am I the idiot? The top replies, you will never be the idiot for reporting something to authority figures. If they did something wrong, they will get reprimanded. If they did nothing wrong, nothing will happen to them. Either way, you're in the clear. The second reply, why would the principal need to look into it if the student was violating the policy? Wouldn't the conversation instead be about what the policy is and what the student could use the Chromebook for? Many schools have started handing out Chromebooks for school use but allow for personal use as well. They often have things locked down or filtered, but kids can still look at things not directly related to school in their free time. Even if the policy is no outside sites, I'm uncomfortable with the teacher just randomly checking devices. Original poster was at lunch. Why was the teacher even checking her device? How often is messing with students' devices outside of his class? What happens if a student is looking at something for a different class that he doesn't agree with? He should not be allowed to overreach like that. Not the idiot. The third reply, the school has every right to monitor the Chromebooks. That doesn't mean this particular teacher has a right to remotely access her Chromebook during her lunch break and forcefully take it over. If he does have that explicit right, well then, he won't be in trouble, no harm done, right? So not the idiot. If he does have that right, can he read her emails, access her grades and personal messages from teachers/students? Where is the line? It seems highly unlikely that random teachers are given rights to remote access to kids' Chromebooks and take control of them. It is possible that this particular teacher has been given network access permissions to forcefully take control of students' laptops. If so, there has been absolutely no harm in her reporting him, because he did nothing wrong. No harm equals not the idiot. If he didn't have this access and did so anyways, then original poster is definitely not the idiot. Update. The principal emailed me and told me to meet her tomorrow morning as soon as I get to school. I tried to find the school policies for the Chromebook but I could not find it. Thanks for the comments and I will update you guys tomorrow. The second story. 22F. Want to go to the bars for my friend's b-day, but I know it goes against my boyfriend's 24m boundaries. A few of my friends wanted to go out to the bars for one of our friends' birthday, and I want to go because I don't go out too often and I have been feeling a little down mentally, so I think it would be good for me to go out with my friends for a fun night. However, my boyfriend has a boundary with going out to bars without him, and I had told him that he could come out too, but he says he has a big exam the next day he needs to study for. I'm not sure what to do because on the one hand, I want to respect his boundaries and not make him feel uncomfortable, and I understand relationships take sacrifices, but on the other hand, I know I will feel like I'm missing out on fun memories with my friends, especially since I haven't been doing too well myself. His reasoning for this boundary, he says, isn't because he doesn't trust me, but because he doesn't trust the other people there, since he believes bars and clubs are for single people and people go to these places to get attention from others. I have a different viewpoint on that, as I think many girls go to the bar together just to have a fun time with each other, which would be what I would want to do. He knows I have absolutely no interest in looking for someone at the bars, and I am capable of handling myself, not getting too drunk / keeping my senses, so I feel like it isn't bad if I go, but I still feel guilty because I don't want to disrespect his boundaries either, so I'm not sure what to do / how to feel about it, and would like some advice if anyone else has been in the same situation. The top replies, the boundaries that need to be examined here are actually yours. Like, I'd start with, I'm not okay with you treating me like a possession or like I can't be trusted. Followed up by, I'm open to discussing reasonable topics like safety, as in not leaving drinks unattended, staying on well-lit walkways, etc. But I'm not going to accept attempts to control my movements or restrict my agency. And if he won't stop seeing you as an object, and if he won't stop trying to control you because he's projecting onto others that they will also see you as an object, then you need to re-examine staying in this relationship. The second reply, a boundary is something for yourself, not something you say to control other people. Saying, you can't go without me, isn't a boundary, it's controlling. If he were to say, I don't want to be with someone who likes going to bars without me, that's a boundary, and he's free to find someone who agrees with him. Just as you're free to find someone who actually trusts you to make good decisions and wants you to have a good time with your friends. You deserve better, and you deserve to enjoy your 20s. As someone old enough to be your mom, I'm telling you that you should go and have fun. The third reply, your boyfriend isn't establishing a boundary, he's establishing a mechanism to control you. He should not stop you from having fun with a group of your friends when you two do not have any previously agreed upon plan. Just go out and tell him, I don't think it's fair to be worried about other people at bars when I'm out with my friends. A pack of us is safer than if it was just me and you. It's one thing to be concerned about your safety if you were going to bars alone. There is a real danger in doing that as a woman, but that's not the case here. The third story. My 28F brother-in-law, 32, male, kissed me while my husband, 29 male, was away, and now I'm not sure the best course of action to take. My husband and I have been married for 2 years and I'm a stay-at-home mom. We have a little boy and another on the way, so we have a cute little family. My brother-in-law, also married, came over. He comes over quite a bit, but this time my husband wasn't here. We sat down and chatted while eating some brownies that I'd made earlier, and he was just complaining to me about his wife and I was giving him emotional support. Then he started comparing me to her, saying I was a good wife and better than her. I just thanked him and told him he was kind. Then he leaned over and kissed me. I didn't kiss back because I was in shock. He kissed me for a few seconds before I think he realized I was uncomfortable and he pulled away. He apologized and left pretty soon after. I don't know if I should do anything about this. Should I follow him up about it and say something else or tell my husband? Or should I just leave it because my husband and him have a good relationship? I don't want to ruin or start any drama over a little kiss. I don't know. The top replies, tell your husband immediately, right now. This is not okay. Your brother-in-law will lie and say you did it or something. Tell him. Protect yourself and do not allow brother-in-law to come back over to your house. And his wife needs to know. The second reply. First, you have to tell your husband ASAP. Otherwise, you will look like the guilty party when the truth comes out. Second, you just let your brother-in-law crap all over his wife and thanked him? I see that you describe yourself as non-confrontational. You are now at a place where you have to choose between your marriage and non-confrontation. And it sounds like you are leaning towards non-confrontation. I don't want to come off as judgmental, but I think you should try to figure out why you are willing to risk your marriage to avoid a fight. You are begging your brother-in-law to continue taking advantage of you if you refuse to take action. The third reply. You need to get ahead of your brother-in-law and tell your husband right now. You should have told him before posting on Reddit, but whatever you do, tell him what happened ASAP. The longer you hold it back, the more you look suspicious when the truth comes out, assuming your brother-in-law doesn't flat out lie about how you came onto him. Before you think your brother-in-law is too good to slander you as the cheater, please remember your brother-in-law has a wife at home and is apparently too cowardly to communicate honestly with his wife. Don't expect him to be honest about this either. Fourth story. Am I the idiot for not canceling my plans after my boyfriend learned about his diagnosis? I, 25F, work in event planning, so I always get invites or tickets to go high-end events. There was a huge event coming up that I was really excited to go to. I asked my boyfriend 3 days before the event to accompany me and he said yes. So originally, the plan was my boyfriend, my stepsister, and myself. On the day of the event, he said he had a doctor's appointment, so he isn't sure if he can still attend. I said no problem and I waited for him to return home. A couple of hours later he texted me and said he has something to tell me. I got worried and called him immediately. I asked if everything was okay and he said he was diagnosed with anemia, so he'll have to take supplements. I expressed how sorry I was and spoke to him for about 2 hours, gave him pep talks, told him I'm here if he needs me, reassured him that I will always love him, etc. I then asked if he would still like to attend the event with me to take his mind off of things, to which he responded that he doesn't like the artists performing, so he'd rather go to another event. I said no problem, I will go with my stepsister alone. He got upset and hung up. I called him back, but he started an argument about how I'm selfish for going out while he's going through something. I told him that I already made the plans with my stepsister and I can't back out now as she was depending on me. I also don't drink, so I would have been the sober driver, and if I didn't go, she couldn't. I told him that this event is the only event my sister really wanted to attend and I promised her that I would take her months prior. I even told him I'll see him the next day and he said be safe and hung up. I got to the event around 11 and spent the entire event alone, just sitting down and watching the show by myself, having food and drinks. When I returned home around 2 a.m., I called him and he was awake playing video games. His first words were, "Look who cares about me again." I said, "I'm too tired for this," and he responded by saying that, "Of course, I'm tired." I went out without him knowing he was upset, but I love partying and meeting new people so much that I didn't think to stay with him on the phone. I told him he was being ridiculous and I would have stayed if it were just us who planned to go. He said my priorities are off and I'm an ignorant idiot. Keep in mind, I don't attend parties unless it's with my family and I only attend events a few times a year. So, am I the idiot for not staying on the phone with him and attending the event instead? The top stories. When I saw the title, I expected it to be cancer, some kind of degenerative disorder, or something requiring major surgery. Anemia is generally a completely treatable condition that has no impact on quality of life, and unless the doctor referenced a concern about a more serious condition, it's reasonable to assume that supplements are all that is needed at this point. It sounds more like he's using it as an excuse to get out of something he didn't want to do, than taking it a step further to try to manipulate you. Not the idiot. Second reply. Years ago, my overly dramatic sister was diagnosed with anemia when she was 12 or 13, and mostly she just whined about having to get her finger poked for the test. Even then, the anemia was never a big deal. And she shut up about the finger poking when 20 minutes later I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and we all had to go to the hospital where I got an IV, several shots, and finger pokes, and was told I'd have to continue poking my fingers several times a day for the rest of my life. I rubbed her dramatics about the finger poke in her face, and it was all a hilarious joke. My reaction to a life-altering chronic diagnosis at 9 years old was less whiny than this dude's. Normally I tend to think that people have a right to their feelings, no matter what, but this seems insane to me. I almost wonder if he misunderstood the diagnosis and somehow thought it was worse than it is. Third reply. Not the idiot tears of joy. Anemia is so common. I put it in quotations because there are so many different types of anemia. Supplements? He's probably iron deficient and needs to take vitamins. The 2-hour pep talk you had to give him about having to take supplements is embarrassing for him. He basically threw a huge pity party, and that continued until you called him later. I would take this as an opportunity to examine his emotional maturity and how he treats you. It sounds to me like he can easily make you feel bad and guilty about things you shouldn't feel bad nor guilty about, and he took up 2 hours of your time earlier on the phone because a doctor told him to take vitamins. He sounds like he's immature and craves your attention, and he doesn't care about your happiness.